cash or card? That's a question I've been getting a lot for Barbados.
They get pissed if you pay with card.
There's no Uber in Barbados.
In Ghana, they do have Uber, they have Bolt.
Ladies, wear your heels. 10 things I wish I knew before moving to Barbados. All right, so I got some great feedback thus far on the last video that I did with my boy Joe, who spent 2 years in Ghana. As you guys know or may not know, I spent 4 months in Barbados. And so we covered the similarities and differences, but we decided to do like a part 2 of that conversation and continue it. All right, so here it goes. Oh, before we jump into it, of course, we gotta let the people know, Joe, about your channel and your brand.
Yeah, so my name is Joannis or Joe Hatagwa. I'm a Sierra Leonean American. I live in Accra, Ghana. I'm in the US right now, but my channel is all about my move to Ghana. So the channel is called Authentic African.
Yes.
I talk about my move to Ghana, what it's like to live there, what it's like dating there, you know, working on my apartment, getting an apartment, getting a job there. And I'm also building a house in Sierra Leone. So I do go back and forth between Ghana and Sierra Leone. So you get a chance to learn all about that in case you're ever thinking about going.
Go to his video next after you're done watching this. He's gonna have the part 2 of this part 2 and a whole bunch of other tips that are gonna be in that video. That link will be below. I'm gonna go ahead and tag it here as well so you guys can get it. All right, so the first one, Joe, cash or card? That's a question I've been getting a lot for Barbados. So I guess I'll start. I used mostly card, honestly, and I used a card that had a great foreign exchange rate. That's mostly what I used and like never really received any objections. I did keep cash on hand a little more than I would in the US just to buy, like, you know, we mentioned in other videos, buying fresh fruit on the street or fresh coconuts or things like that.
Yeah.
You definitely want to have cash for that stuff. What about you? Similar or different?
I would say it's pretty similar. I mean, in terms of Ghana, right? When you're in Ghana, most restaurants, hotels, malls, shops that are like bigger or chains, they take cards. And then a lot of people have those POS systems, the point of sale systems, like those wireless things where you can put your card in it. But if you're buying from a local vendor, you need cash or mobile money.
What's mobile money?
So
is that like Cash App?
It's like Cash App,
Okay.
but the telephone companies have a way that you can send money to each other. You can put money on your account and you can go to like a mobile money vendor, give them money, they put money on your account and you can send money that way.
Oh, okay. Learn something new.
Yeah,
so that's what company you recommend?
Well, it's from your telephone company.
Oh,
so if you have Vodafone or you have
Mm-hmm.
MTN, they have Vodafone Cash or MTN Cash, and you can just send money that way. Same thing in Sierra Leone. But I will say, you do need to have cash or mobile money when you're dealing with the local vendors. Most of them don't have a POS because the machine is expensive.
Yeah.
And it's too cumbersome and it has to be charged and there's so many different issues that come along with it. Some cards, but mostly cash from those guys. But any major restaurant you go to, you can use a card.
Okay, another big question that I get is always, do you have to convert the money? And I know for Barbados, you don't need to. Honestly, and if you're going to convert it, I would just say do it there. Go to an ATM there, but you really don't need to. And it's 2 Bajan dollars equal $1 US. So it's an easy conversion for you to make and do in your head.
Yeah, that's easy. So when I got to Ghana, it was 6 CDs for every $1 because of inflation and because, you know, the US stabilizes its currency and other countries don't. Oh, in terms of the actual conversion rate, you do need to convert your money. I don't think that you can use dollars pretty much anywhere. I mean, most companies require you to use CDs. Some people do it at the airport when they arrive. There are other exchange places that you could use locally, but Ghana is very serious about using the Ghana CD instead of using cash.
You know what? I'm really
US.
starting to realize now during our conversations, like Barbados makes it so easy for you guys to visit, which makes sense why the tourism industry is booming right now and doing so well. All right, so I said this before in my other videos, but there is no Uber in Barbados. There is, however, another app, and I'll drop that name here, that I can't recommend it because I've never tried it myself. I don't know anyone who has, but go ahead and check it out. It's an option if you're going to Barbados, but we don't have an Uber. Like, you have to order your cab in advance, at least a day in advance if you're doing a cab. And I recommend as early as, you know, like I've even done it a week out.
A week?
Yeah, like when my girls were coming for my birthday, like I ordered it like a week out to get the best rates and whatnot. So what about you? Similar or different?
So in Ghana, they do have Uber, they have Bolt. So you have 2 different companies. They have another company called Zando.
Wait, y'all have not one, but more than?
Oh, sorry, Yango. So they have another company called Yango. Yeah, so there's 3 companies.
Okay.
So there's Bolt, Uber, and Yango. Bolt and Yango are European and Russian or Russian sort of. And then of course you have Uber. So yeah, I mean, you could just check across all of them to see who has the best prices. I definitely use Uber almost all the time because those vehicles tend to be the larger or nicer vehicles with Uber. But yeah, we definitely have Uber. In Sierra Leone, there is no Uber. So you gotta take a keke or a bike, or you have to have a driver. So it's like a 3-wheeled vehicle that has like a covering over top of it. If you've ever heard of India, if you ever, you know, in India they have the rickshaws or rickshaws, I think they call them or whatever.
Don't know the name, but
but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So that's what we have plenty of in Sierra Leone.
Where someone is bicycling it?
They're not bicycling. It's a motorized one. But like, if you've ever been to Central Park, I think so. Like in Central Park, they have the ones that they bicycle. So it looks similar to that. But yeah, I don't know how I would get around in Ghana without it. I don't know how people did it pre-Uber and the other ride-sharing companies because the local transportation is not ideal for me.
I will say this, in Barbados, they have a ZR van, which is, if you're from New York or lived in New York, it's comparable to the dollar van, but it's pretty much like these small vans that run down these streets and like from zone to zone to zone, but you only pay one fee, and I think it's equivalent to $175 US. And they come like every 5 minutes. You can always catch them. They're kind of fun to catch. They are kind of speedy if you're comfortable with that. And they'll always be blasting some great music. So I did have my experience taking one and it was a great experience, but you definitely have to live on a main road in order to have, or off of a main road to have access to them. Usually in South Coast, and I think they have them in the West Coast of Barbados as well, St. James area. And Christchurch area is the South Coast.
Well, I would say Uber and Bolt and Yango are all cheaper than they are in the States, no matter where you are in the States.
Oh, that's great. Well, as is everything there, I see.
Yeah, and you can pay cash too. That's one other thing. So you can pay cash to those drivers. Most actually, they prefer cash because if you pay them cash, it's cash right away. They can keep it and they can use it to fill up their tank. If they pay with card, they have to wait until Uber pays them back at the end of the month. So they get pissed if you pay with card. Like they'll act like you should know that. So just something to think about because they're like, oh, you pay with card, you should have told me. That's what they'll say all the time. So I pay with cash, of course, and then also it's much cheaper. It's like to go like, the equivalent of like 10 miles or whatever, it might be like $5, less than $5.
We gave you a good amount of tips for Ghana and Sierra Leone and also Barbados. So if this is helpful thus far, go ahead and click the like button, y'all. Let us know. All right, we just might come back with another video. All right, now the next one is dining. So we've talked about dining in other videos, but we haven't talked about procedure. So when it comes to Barbados for the dining restaurant life, you almost must always book a reservation. Like you might play yourself, especially on the weekend, if you attempt to go to a restaurant, especially in one of the main areas without a reservation. So my advice is just to always book a reservation. And then once again, as I said in the past videos, it's hard to find Asian food. Local food or a good assortment of local food in one of the main restaurants. If you want to go to a mom and dad or mom and pop shop that's usually connected to someone's house, you will get it, but then that's not something that you can easily Google. So something to keep in mind. I will recommend This Whole House is a popular restaurant that's one of the major ones that's focused on Bajan food and like what her grandmother used to make for her. So that's a good opportunity to try local cuisine from there. But what about you?
I would say it varies, right? I mean, if you always want to be sure you have a place to sit, especially if you're at a more high-end restaurant, definitely do a reservation beforehand. But like most of the restaurants don't really require reservations. You can just walk in and sit down. But some of the places that are a little bit more popular, where a lot of expats go to, it might make sense to make a reservation beforehand. Yeah, like there's a place called Fat Fish that everyone seems to like. I would definitely make sure you make a reservation before you go to Fat Fish for brunch or for dinner or for drinks or whatever, because that place is really popular. And by the way, that is like one of the places where people really get dressed up for. Most people don't really get too dressed up to go most places. I mean, you do get dressed up for the high-end restaurants, I guess, but Fat Fish is like a whole nother level. It's really dope. It kind of reminds.
Like, are you wearing this?
Yeah, I wear something like this, but not with like. I would wear like shoes that are like without laces. Right, like nicer shoes.
I'm glad you brought that up because in Barbados, like they dress up. I'll put it this way: however you would go to a New York restaurant, that's the way you should dress in Barbados, personally. Because I know in the other islands, I'll catch a lot of tourists with like flip flops and like their island vibe shirts that they love to wear. I'll subscribe to that, but that is not how you want to like step out onto the strip. And especially in the Platinum Coast, the West Coast, St. James, they call it Platinum Coast because it's where the money is. So ladies, wear your heels. I mentioned that in another video. Check that video out here. 10 things I wish I knew before moving to Barbados. So the next one now, nightlife. I know y'all been wanting to know about that for a while. So for nightlife, oh, actually, go ahead and click on this video so you can check out Joe's channel and get our insight on like nightlife, how it is in Ghana and Barbados and whether it's similar or different. He's also gonna hit you with like 2 other ones. So click that, go ahead.
Check it out.
Have you subscribed yet to my channel, y'all? Go ahead and click the subscribe button. If this is more than 2 videos you done watch, you like the channel, go ahead, subscribe, click the notifications bell so that you know when a new video comes out. Go ahead, click it, y'all.